Good morning, Tarkov. How's everyone doing? This is going to be mostly for the VOD viewers, but this is the Good Morning Tarkov show I've been putting on for a couple weeks now, and it's going very well, so I plan to do it more often. Don't worry, though, because I have some more videos coming up. We're actually going to have quite a few videos coming up for the next couple weeks, and theoretically, my theory, not BSG's, not Nikita's or anyone, but my theory is that we could be seeing the wipe in the month of May as well, so things are going to get quite busy here. But anyway, this is the Good Morning Tarkov show where I come to hang out with you guys, and I'll come up with a topic that I kind of chit-chat about at the beginning of the 1 hour stream, and then just to get everyone's brain moving and whatnot, and then after that, we just kind of chit-chat, and we do a little bit of Q&A, and we talk about whatever I talked about for that day. Which today's topic is Tarkov therapy, specifically cry about it, and we'll get to that in a second. We're going to get to that in a minute, but we'll let everyone kind of trickle on in. We'll get everyone in here, and once the numbers get up a little bit, we'll get to today's topic. But how's everyone doing? Morning, Rusty. Morning, Core. Morning, Vic. Morning, Alexander. Oh yeah, also for the VOD viewers, in order to get what you have come for, you can skip around if you check the top of the description and then also the top comment. I will pin some timestamps in there so that you can see exactly what the specific junctions or whatever you want to call it. It's not milestone. Blah. If you haven't been able to tell this morning specifically, I haven't had enough coffee just yet, so I'm going to fix that really quickly. I'll just quite not exactly not fully awake yet, but we have today's topic written out, so we should be good to go. But yeah, so if you want to keep up with the conversation or see specifically what we did for today's stream, you can check out the timestamps. Usually it's an intro, and then it's the topic, and then it's the Q&A. I've cried multiple times for Tarkov. I can't even lie. Evening, or good morning. Hey, I have some very interesting news, guys. Speaking of good mornings specifically from Tarkov, I have somebody very, very good working on our art. It's going to take a little bit, but trust me, guys, it is going to be worth the wait. It's going to be really cool. We're going to have a very unique and a very special kind of, I guess you could say, set. We're going to have a very, very special set for the Good Morning Tarkov show. So that'll be cool. And then also, if everyone likes that, then we can also do one for our soon-to-be titled or whatever, eventually titled podcast or cast or whatever you guys want to call it. Right now, I think the evening cast I might put behind memberships. I'm not quite sure yet, just because of how it's going to be structured and where it's going to fit in terms of content on the channel. There's a lot of planning that's going to be going on, and depending on what actually happens with the podcast, that may or may not show up in the afternoons, because I tend to put up videos in the afternoons, so I don't want it like crowding the videos when I decide to post the videos and stuff like that. So that's why afternoons are a bit tricky for me, specifically. But we'll see. I still got more planning to do. I got to figure out what I want to do with that. Thank you for everything you do for the community. I don't do a whole lot. I mean, I keep you guys up to date. I wish I could do more, but appreciate it all the same. Thank you. Morning. Good morning. By the way, I did get a notification. Sharper Crown, do you have all notifications turned on for my channel? What's poppin', my guy? Tarkov. Sun's rising. Sun's rising on another day. Another beautiful day in Tarkov. Hey, caught one live. Yep. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time. You do? Okay, so that's why. So, Sharper, that's why. So, not everyone has that. In fact, I think only like 6% or something like that, even if that, of people on the channel have like all notifications turned on. So, yeah. As long as it doesn't notify everyone, or as long as it doesn't do the usual thing that it does to show everyone that a video has gone up, I'm okay with it. I remember something was said about it yesterday. Yeah, I'm like I said, these shows I want to just kind of like be here, and then if you guys want to come hang out and you guys want to take part in it, it'll be cool, but I do not want it to overshadow the videos. I want to make sure we get everyone onto those videos, because that's more concise and that's more like my my thing, those videos. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? While we're waiting for people to show up here, we just kind of hang out a little bit for a couple minutes. And like I said, today's topic is going to be Tarkov therapy. Cry about it. I think we can do a couple different things with this. If this is going to actually be a daily show, which is the plan right now, we need to be able to extend the topics a little bit. I thought that we weren't going to get, like, I didn't think we were going to get this many people so quickly. This is the 12th, I think. This is the 12th show that I did. And people like immediately showed up and everyone's liking it. So I got to figure out how I want to plan the content a little bit better so that we can extend it a bit more, because unfortunately, we do get a lot of the same questions every day, which I guess just comes with the territory. But also, the same questions revolve around something that I've already discussed. So I'm trying to figure out if we can like break them down a bit more. So this Tarkov therapy thing, cry about it. I think that's going to allow me to break some stuff up a little bit more specifically. Love your videos, man. Appreciate it. Schizo posting? Thanks. This guy is so humble, he doesn't even want people to get notifications first. It's not like a humble thing, man. And in fact, if anything, it's not really a humble thing, because I want people to go to my videos specifically. So I appreciate the kind thought there, but it's really just I want people to go to the videos, not to. If people want to come if people want to come out here, if people want to come and hang out here, it's fine. All the same, fine with me. But specifically, like, I want people to funnel towards the videos, not so much this. How do I turn on notifications? There should be the bell, and then it should tell you, do you want all notifications on or whatever? Can't wait to get to I can't wait to get to Tarkov. Oh, do you not have the game yet? Well, when you do, come by here so I can actually tell you welcome to Tarkov. And it'll actually be welcome to Tarkov, because you never played Tarkov before. Also, welcome to Tarkov. All of my boys left Tarkov, and I'm here sitting, on top of the Scavlands Tower sniping reserve and feeling kind of bored. That just comes with the wipe cycles, my friend. We're going to get into that today. We are going to get into that today. For sure. You think you can find armor plates on scavs? I don't see why not. Once that feature comes into the game, I'm sure there's going to be some scavs that have those plates. Because it's going to be how rigs work in general. You'll see. When that feature comes in, you'll see. And if you do want to know more about that, go check out that video. It's titled something along the lines of the biggest change coming to Escape from Tarkov. That's about the custom rigs and the armor hitboxes. Don't do Tarkov before next wipe. No, I actually wholeheartedly disagree with that. Tarkov is a very difficult game, as I'm sure everyone here listening knows. And practice is good. You know, time in game is good. You're always, as long as you're playing correctly in terms of being able to learn from your deaths, being able to learn from every single raid, then it counts. I'm a big believer in learning from your mistakes and learning from your past and stuff like that. So let's if you are having trouble with Escape from Tarkov, gameplay is good. No matter what point of the wipe you're in, gameplay is always good. If you want to get better, if you want to understand the game better, if you want to do better next wipe, if you want to do better at launch, gameplay is good. So get in there. Get in there and get it. I keep running into this bug in Tarkov. I die really strange and annoying. Yeah, that's weird. I think maybe cry about it. Maybe cry about it, Jack. When's wipe? Do exclamation point wipe and go check out my video on 12.11. Although I actually, I'm going to have another video talking about that because I have some interesting information about that. But I'm going to leave that for a video because if I get into that information in this stream, then that's all we're going to be talking about today. So we'll leave it for another day. But trust me, there's some interesting information that came about yesterday that I'm going to put into a video. Do you think there should be gear equip animations? I mean, there kind of is already, isn't there? What do you mean specifically? Actually, that's more of a, let's keep that for the Q&A thing. We've got enough people here. Let's get on to today's topic. So we're going to lower the music a little bit here, guys. And if you guys are new to this stream, the way that I do things is, I know that I was just kind of chit-chatting there, but that's exactly what I do. I just start the stream up, and then as we wait for people to show up, I do chit-chat. I do answer a couple questions here and there, but it's mostly just kind of a good morning thing. And then we get to today's topic, and today's topic is going to be Tarkov therapy, quote-unquote, cry about it. So what that means specifically is when I go and I read the comments and when I go and I talk to people that are into Escape from Tarkov, I get a lot of people that, of course, are frustrated about something in the game because it can be a very frustrating game. You can put a lot of time into you can put a lot of time into the game to get that one great setup that you saw your favorite streamer or your favorite YouTuber or whatever. You just think that's an amazing gun, that's an amazing setup, I'm going to do really well with this, and then you end up dying in seconds to a 5-man with a grenade launcher or something like that. That's a welcome to Tarkov. That stuff can really, really hit hard, and I'm sure we've all I'm sure we've all been there. Same thing goes for, like, if you are chatting around and you get to the guide, you get on your last map of the guide, you run into a 5-man, you kill 4, but then you die to the last guy. You've done everything that you possibly can, and it's still not enough. That's a welcome to Tarkov, and it can hit people the wrong way. So we're going to get into that today. So there's going to be a little bit of Tarkov therapy today, and with today's topic, like I said before, cry about it. So there's going to be some major things. There's going to be, like, some major points that I see a lot in the comment section, and I see a lot that people are, crying about, basically, in the comments, or just about Escape from Tarkov in general. And it's not necessarily that I disagree or that I see you differently because you guys are venting or, for lack of a better word here, even though it does work correctly, crying about stuff for Escape from Tarkov. We can still discuss it, and I think we can move past it as long as you get the proper help. So that is why I'm here. I have an official PhD in Tarkov therapy, so let's talk about it. So a big thing that I see all the time is, but what if I don't have enough time? And I specifically actually have made a video about this where I sum this up a bit more and go into a bit more detail. So if that is something that you get hit by a lot, you have that full-time job, you have a family that you have to take care of on a day-to-day basis, there's a lot going on, but you still want to put time into the game. If that is what you are currently struggling with, is the I don't have enough time, go check out that video for sure. And the name of that video, I think, is Let Games Be Hard. Go check that out. And if you want to find it faster, go over to the second channel. I have that as one of the first videos on my second channel as well. So what it basically comes down to is you need to be more realistic with your choices, really, and understand and try and figure out if that feature just isn't for you. So again, I go into that in that video, and if you really actually enjoy, since we're talking about Escape from Tarkov here, if you actually really enjoy Escape from Tarkov and can be realistic and say that, level 40 and all of the traders at level 4 is just not something that I can do. I just don't have enough time during the week. I just can't really realistically get there. I'm not even going to say the kappa because I know for a fact that unless you're putting in lots of hours every single week, you're just not going to get the kappa. So let's be a little bit more realistic and let's say level 4 traders. Then is that actually for you? You need to try and see if you can navigate your way around that and find something else that you can have that you can enjoy better. So, focus your effort on things that you're able to accomplish to use those as your reach goals. Or use those as your reach goals. So, let's say you've never gotten to level 4 traders. Keep that as a wow, it'd be really nice if I got to level 4 traders. Like, that's the kind of mindset that you should put yourself in. Don't say like shit, the wife's coming and I still haven't gotten level 4 traders. You just need to kind of like restructure your goals a little bit more. So like I said before, you should be thinking of it as, oh wow, I'm really close to my level 4 traders. It'd be cool if I got there, kind of a thing. But don't make it like a necessarily like, fuck, I never got to the level 4 traders again. So what you could do is it doesn't necessarily need to be something that would be time based. For me specifically, when I had the full-time job, I played. It's starting to overlap now, so it's starting to not be the case anymore. But as of this time last year, there was more time that I put into Escape from Tarkov when I had a full-time job than when I didn't have a full-time job. If that doesn't make any sense. So most of the time that I had playing Escape from Tarkov is when in my life I had a full-time job. I played on weekends. I played afternoons. It was my favorite game. I put the time in, and I just, whenever I was at work, I get this all the time, so I'm sure, props if you guys have me on your second monitor at work or whatever, or if you're on a bus or if you're on your way to work or whatever, because I did the exact same thing. I would have Clean, I'd have Ghost Freak, I'd have Deadly Slob on my second monitor. I would have had one of them in my ear. I'd constantly be trying to learn what I can when I'm not playing the game. And if this is actually that game for you, if you want to actually improve and stuff like that, that's kind of the stuff that you got to do with a game like Escape from Tarkov, because it's just that is the game. Like, it is just grueling. It is difficult, and I know it's not going to be the realistic thing anymore because it's as realistic as playable, but it is just Tarkov. It's no handouts, super difficult. it embodies the just cry about it, like get over it kind of mentality when it comes to video games in general. It's a very, very just difficult game. And then as you can see with people like Landmark and Pestily and everybody, and then hell, even if you've seen my gameplay, you figure it out. It's like any other game. When you put the time in, you figure it out. So an easier way to have fun, spending your time in game is to be realistic with your expectations. And if you don't have enough time to get the level 4 traders, then think of something that doesn't even really require time. So let's just say, let's get a survival streak going. You can literally do that from day one. You don't need level 4 traders. You don't need the best gear in the world. You can just kind of rat around or whatever. And it's not going to be for everyone, of course. But kind of shape your expectations or shape your goals a little bit differently based off of being realistic with what kind of time you can put in or what kind of effort you can put into the game. Something like that, like I said, you can do from day one. You don't need level 4 traders for that. And it's still an accomplishment. Let's say you want to survive 20 raids in a row, and you want to kill 3 PMCs and 10 scavs each time. I would be very impressed. If anyone told me that they survived 20 raids in a row, and each raid they killed 3 PMCs and 10 scavs, that is an amazing achievement, no matter what time of the wipe it is, period. So, I mean, even that might be a bit more. But let's just say they killed 1 PMC and 5 scavs. That'd still be really good. If you didn't get any kills and you actually survived 20 raids in a row, then I'd be like, so you just kind of hit everywhere? Like, see what I mean? So you can kind of shape things around and mess with things a little bit differently to base like what your achievement in game is. But it's dependent on you. It's going to be different for everyone. So that's but if I don't have enough time. And if that's not good enough, then I get it. It makes sense. But unfortunately, then it just might not be for you. So you just have to be more realistic with that kind of stuff. Another thing is if I don't have money in the game. So we're moving on from I don't have enough time in real life to play this game or to put this amount of effort into Escape from Tarkov. But let's say that you do have the time or you do have the you do have the ability to do that, but in game you're struggling and you don't have the money. So specifically, what are you trying to get the money for? Because if you need 1 ruble, I'm telling you right now, 1 ruble is not too hard to come by. I'm sure you can probably find a way to, get something off of fence or whatever and then put it up in the... Actually, you can't because that wouldn't be found in raid. Now, you can't... That's not found in raid, so you can't do that anymore. Let's say you do a hatchet run. You're going to be able to make 1 ruble in 1 raid if you go and hatchet run. You get to the next... The closest box or whatever and then get out with that stuff. You're going to make that 1 ruble. So obviously... But that's not what you want. You don't want the 1 ruble. You want the million rubles to be able to grab that HK416, the level 5 armor, the good helmet, and all the good ammo and all that stuff. But if you're not good at getting that money, then you need to structure your achievements based off of what you can do, and then it makes you feel better in what you're doing. You need to, restructure what you're actually are trying to accomplish in game. Because if you're constantly going for the tip of the spear kind of stuff and you're just not there yet, you're going to constantly be disappointed. So I say this all the time when people are starting off with Escape from Tarkov and they're going and watching Landmark, you need to be realistic with your skill set and you need to be realistic with what you can actually accomplish in game. Because if you're just not that, at its core, Escape from Tarkov is a first-person shooter. If you're not a very good first-person shooter player, you're not going to be doing you're not going to learn much from Landmark. You're going to need to go learn. You're going to need to go watch someone like Deadly Sob. You're going to need to go watch someone that plays the game a little bit slower. Clean hasn't played for months, but Clean actually did a bit of this where it needs to actually fit your playstyle a little bit more and try and learn from them and then get going from there. And also, yeah, scavs, play your scavs as much as possible, of course, that too. And then once you actually figure out your playstyle and what works best for you, then you start worrying about, all right, how do I make the most money? And then that goes into a whole rabbit hole there. But that is the real issue, is curving your expectations and being realistic with your skill set and what you can actually do in game and stuff like that. So, of course, if you're having trouble making money, losing money isn't too good. So if you aren't good enough to be able to make money by using the best ammo, using the best gun, using the best gear because you die a lot, or you are just not able to push those fights well enough to get those good players, or to get to that loot quick enough to get out of the raid and make a profit, then you need to, there's a gray area there. You need to step it down a little bit until you start making money, and then you go from there. So again, this actually goes along with I don't have the skill. What if you don't have the skills? I've got plenty of videos in my EFT Like a Pro playlist where specifically it's more broken down into maps, money, munitions, movement in that order. This is probably the quickest way I can explain this stuff. Learn your maps. Learn how to make money. Learn what the best gear is. This is just munitions. Learn what the best gear is or the most efficient gear for that money, like we just spoke about. And then you worry about movement. Then you worry about like your actual play style and stuff like that. Because if you learn the maps, that's the quickest way and the easiest way in my mind. And the maps are huge and it's a lot to learn. But I do have those 5-minute map guides. If you guys haven't checked those out and you're still struggling with maps, I'd suggest that you check those out. Knowing your territory or knowing the landscape better than someone else is a very easy way to outplay someone without actually having to outskill them, because you might know something based off of the way that the map is structured or based off of how that person was playing. You might know that they need to go a certain way and you can cut them off and stuff like that. And then money. If you have no problem making money, you're going to have no problem wasting it, because you can just constantly get gear and you can constantly keep going. So if you build that up, you know the maps, you have the money to play the maps, and then that's going to keep moving, and then you're going to be able to figure out what the best ammo is or what the best gear is, and then you're going to be able to survive, you're going to be able to play better. And then once you actually figure out the movement, and once you actually figure out the best place to go at the beginning of a raid and stuff like that, then you're going to get even better from there. So like I said, maps, money, munitions, movement. If you don't have the skill, that's what you need to worry about. Another thing is when it comes to, the cry about it stuff. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, once that comes into the game, I'm going to quit. Or once that comes into the game, that's going to ruin the game for me. Stuff like that. This is a very literal response of cry about it. Seriously. Either adapt or you miss out. So either you like the game enough that you're going to be able to adapt to it and you're going to be able to enjoy the game again, or just, stop playing. It's really unfortunate, and it's not really like a forehead thing, and it's not really like a thing that I'm trying to be combative about. But it's genuinely, it's a game that's in development, and you just bought into it. If you just bought into it because you saw your favorite streamer, like, who knows how many people bought this because, and actually, this is actually going to be not a good example for today, but a while back, XQC, if anyone doesn't know who XQC is, he's like the biggest streamer on Twitch right now. XQC bought Escape from Tarkov, and he got into it during the Droppocalypse on Twitch last year, and he had no idea what the fuck was going on, and he didn't really put any time into learning. Initially, he didn't really put any time into learning or what to do in Escape from Tarkov. He was sitting there with unexamined gear and had no idea what was going on. He was dying constantly. So how many people bought that game because of him and had no idea what was going on, and then now they're just learning that, oh, this is in development, there's so much extra shit coming, what's this karma BS, what's this arena stuff, and it's going to be a separate cost and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. That's just what we're living with. So you can either adapt or miss out, and that's the best way that I can put it. If you're going to go with adapting, then there's ways that you can do that. You can go to content creators, and they're going to be able to help you learn those things better. And if you actually enjoy the game, if you actually enjoy your time here, then that's going to help out with that. Or you miss out. You move on to something else that makes you happy. You move on to something else that you're going to be able to enjoy the time off, especially if you have a full schedule. You've got a family, you've got a job, you got a full-time job, all that kind of stuff. If you're genuinely not enjoying your time there, or if you genuinely don't think that you're going to enjoy the game once that feature comes in, then move on to something else. Just move on to something else, cut your losses, and move on. Because genuinely, I've felt that back in the day. I've felt that from time to time about Escape from Tarkov, and then it creeps back up into my mind and be like, you know what? I actually really liked that about Escape from Tarkov. I'll go back and play it, and then I fall back in love with it, kind of a thing. So breaks are good, adapt or miss out. And then this goes into that's not what I signed up for. So if you're like a super survival player, this is like a different topic. So if you aren't keeping up with the development plans for Escape from Tarkov, and you're not really sure what's coming down the pipeline. Let's say you're more of a survival player, and then Arena pops up, and you're just confused what's going on with Arena. What's going on with all these tournaments? There's a lot more tournaments coming, by the way. They're going to be doing a bunch of that stuff. What's going on? What's going on with inertia? How is this going to work out? And let's say you are that more PvP player, and you constantly play labs from day one and stuff like that. If you can, once you get that card, of course. But you're just constantly out there to chat up, and then you've got this open world, and the frames aren't going to be that great once you do this open world. What the hell's going on with labs? Now we have to go into streets or factory in order to get into labs. What the hell's up with that? And then again, with the scav gameplay, maybe you just like scavs, or for some reason or another, you just enjoy how scavs work, and then karma comes up. It's like, what the hell? Now I got to worry about who I'm shooting and stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff that can come up with that can come up with the development of Escape from Tarkov. But generally speaking, the game as a whole, you should be able to find something that works for you. If you are that PvP player, don't play open world, play arena. Well, what if I don't want to have to pay that extra money or anything like that? Then you can go to factory, and then, like I said, it's either an adapt or miss out kind of situation once you get to that point. So if you don't want to, if it does end up costing more, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. We'll see what ends up happening with arena. But if you don't want to pay that extra money, then that makes sense. I agree with that. Or at least not I agree with it, but because I know why they're doing that. It makes sense from a development standpoint. But like I said, whole nother rabbit hole with that. We can get into that some other time. And then if you can't find fun other places in the world of Escape from Tarkov, then unfortunately that is an adapt or miss out situation in that case. Same thing with open world. They keep doing these tournaments, and maybe the open world, let's say the open world doesn't actually work out completely to plan. Maybe they only get you're only able to move from a few maps to a few maps. Let's say that it's just not possible. It ends up being that it'll be too taxing on PCs. Or even let's say they are able to do open world, but for some reason or another, your specific PC, the one that you can afford or the one that you just have access to, or the servers that you have access to, or something is keeping you from enjoying the full extent of open world, then that is a very real thing. And this is why I wanted to kind of have this be one of the last things of something that you do cry about. This is something that you actually talk about, and this is a real thing that you can't fix. So there's a very real possibility out there that people, not even possibility, this is actually happening right now. Your setup is just not good enough to run probably like an open world setup, or however they end up developing, or however they end up setting up this open world eventually around launch, or Streets. Even if it's Streets, once Streets launches, maybe your PC can't run Streets. That is a very real thing to actually cry about. That is an actual thing that you need to give feedback about, but don't structure it as, fuck you, BSG, I can't even play this now, I've been waiting forever. Because to an extent, it does come down to, it's not exactly their problem, because you need to be able to, I mean, you not need to, but you do need to be realistic with your expectations. Like, if you just can't afford that proper, like, let's say it's like a baseline, like a proper PC to be able to run the game in minimal settings or that kind of a thing, then sure, you can complain about their expectations with their recommended I'm blanking on the word, what is it? Recommended blah 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 specs, the recommended specs and stuff like that. And that is actual, like, that's why I'm finishing. This is actually going to be me. This is going to be the end of my rant here in a second here, guys, because this actually makes sense. That is actually a real world thing that ties up into the real game. That is a real issue. So that's how, like, however it ends up setting up, like, let's say that you do have a mid-level PC and you should reasonably be able to play the game, then that's something that's real. You need to be able to say, like, hey, I have a $1,500 PC here. If this ends up being a thing, I have a $1,500 PC here. That's probably reasonable enough to be able to run Escape from Tarkov. And I just can't play Streets, or I can't play. I know lots of people have been complaining about Reserve as well, or you just can't play Reserve, stuff like that. Make sure you structure it correctly, and they'll actually, they'll do what they can, that kind of a thing, especially around launch. When they don't have as much stuff on their plate, because they want to make sure that after all these many years of actually building the game, they want to make it as playable as possible for people. So I'm sure that they'll work with you a bit better than if you complained about, if you read about grenade launchers, or if you read about the karma system, or if you read about something that they've been planning about for years. It's going to be, it's going to be perceived different than if you genuinely enjoy the game. You like everything that they did, but it's just, you can't. If there's actually a genuine you can't, tied into that, then that's actual feedback. That's actual cry about it territory for that stuff like that. But they're not going to be able to see it if it's constantly flooded with other people saying, fix your servers, fix your game when it's in development, or Karma is dumb, that game's dumb, grenade launchers are dumb, explosives are dumb, whatever is dumb, and that kind of stuff. If it's constantly flooded with that kind of a thing, you're not going to be able to fully get through with the actual feedback and the actual issues that should be, talked about or discussed or worked on from BSG's standpoint. So, yeah, that's the last thing that I wanted to mention for my sum up there, because that's actually real. That's a real thing, and that's the kind of thing that should actually go through. Anyway, that was today's topic, Tarkov therapy. I hope it helps some people. Now let's discuss. I'm sure there's plenty of people. Be a little bit, don't be so trigger happy today, Jack. Because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that disagree with me. So unless they're being like completely toxic, just don't bop them immediately. I want to have a genuine discussion with people. So if you guys disagree with me, feel free to jump in chat. Make sure you're doing @NiceGuySpaceTarkov. I'll show you guys here. I did this yesterday, and I think it worked out pretty well. So we can just do this, and then I'll show you right here. So if you guys do at nice guy space Tarkov, like what Sky Knight just did here, and there's probably some other people, Okunda over here. So if you guys do at nice guy space Tarkov, it pops up as orange, and it's able to stick out much easier than this sea of everyone. You see what I'm seeing here? That's what I see. So that's why it's easier if you do something like that. I'm going to be able to actually get to your question much easier. It's the robot eating people? Okay. Commands. Because of a text wall? Okay. Yeah, if people are text walling, just, yeah, they can bop. That can be an auto bop. Message deleted. Oh, what's going on here? All right, I'll take a look at the bot after this. I need it to run right now, but I'll take a look at that because he got bopped for just doing 3 triangles. All right, for typing long messages. Okay, well, I'll take a look at it after this. I don't think I should turn it off right now, but I'll take a look at it after this. Do you think the karma stuff will ruin sniping? Absolutely not, because you're going to be able to see. If anything, sniping is going to be the easiest thing to do for karma because you're going to be able to see what people are much easier. You're going to be able to see that USEC or that bear patch or something like that. If anything, sniping is probably going to be the easiest thing for karma. Not working for mobile. I have no idea what to do about that. I'm sorry. Nightbot is eating people for typing long. Okay, we'll see. I'll see what's going on after the stream. If it keeps popping up, then I'll get to it right now. But it seems like it's okay right now. I feel open world with. I'll turn this down just a little bit. I feel open world and main quest will slow end game rush. I think it starts a few days after the pullout, so maybe no bosses until an event. Vic, you kind of went all over the place. I'm not exactly sure if you can kind of structure that question differently. I might understand it a bit better. But in terms of like end game rush right now, I think it is a current. I think it's just because that we are in development and they want people to be able to test everything. We've talked about this a few times. During these casts, this is a testing environment, and if there's things that are too difficult to get to, or if they're not accessible, then you can't be tested, right? Or they can't be tested, right? So there needs to be a bit of easier access at the current stage, and then once we get closer to launch, then we can start picking things apart with the economy and stuff like that. But main quest lines should be really cool for sure, and open world should be really cool for sure. What are your thoughts on them not really trying to go after bugs that have been in the game for 4 to 6 months? Of course they're trying, but this is another thing with they can't fully explain everything behind the scenes. So depending on what that bug is, or depending on what the issue might be, it might not make sense for them to do it because it might be fitting into another feature. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, but you know. Just genuinely, from someone who's worked in game development, from someone who has been following the game as closely as I have for years, I don't see... If you bring something more specific to me, then I might be able to go from a point to point, but just that generalized question of them not fixing the stuff that's been in the game for 4 or 6 months, that sounds a lot like things that might be connected to another feature that they might be working on in the background or something like that. I think there would be a good reason for most, if not all, of the things that you're talking about if they end up being real, because I see that kind of complaint a lot, and that just seems like if someone wants to complain about the game, that's kind of generally the thing they go to. But yeah, if you have something more specific, then I can look into it a little bit better. Do you think that it would be better to have more NPC factions or just more armbands for... Hold up. You guys are moving quick today. Do you think that it would be better to have more NPC factions or just more armbands for doing quests and kill bosses 50 times or so? I'm not sure what you mean with the armbands there, and there are more NPC factions coming. So do you mean more, even more than the UN and the Russian regulars and the GRU groups and stuff like that, or what? And there's more bosses coming too, so we'll see what quests end up popping up before launch. Are you glad they nerfed Bitcoin? And are you glad they nerfed Bitcoin mid-wipe, or should they have waited till the next full wipe? That's a good question. I'm not an economist, and maybe they wanted to test something specifically. I tell you what, though, that is a great test of a hard stop to something that is ruining the economy after it has kind of already ruined the economy. So maybe they're getting some good data from that. Maybe they were able to reset stuff. I don't know. but they're going to be able to see the stats of the economy and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe it wasn't that crazy. Maybe it was able to slow some people down, and maybe it was able to do something interesting to the economy. Maybe that was a very specific test. Maybe they waited that long on purpose, like that kind of a thing. We don't know unless they tell us. And unfortunately, they're not telling us a whole lot these days because everyone reads about everything. So hopefully once the community gets reset a little bit and maybe with the new community manager or the new community lead, maybe they start discussing that kind of stuff more often. But we'll see. Agree with you, man. But at the same time, the game optimization is nonsense. It's in development. Reserve FPS is shit. Is shit some patches and 100+ other ones. Same for EOD. I've been promised everything. Yeah, until they say the game is done, that's just gonna keep happening, man. If you don't understand that stuff, that's another whole rabbit hole there. I wish that there was a quick way for me to answer that, but other than just soon TM kind of stuff, it's in development. That's really all I can say right now. If you're really that frustrated about it, then the best thing you do is just move on, take a break, come back later. How do you not stream these on Twitch? Just a general question, because I'm surprised we haven't dropped yet. I drop constantly, although actually maybe we did drop because I'm seeing that I lost some frames here. We might have dropped earlier, so hopefully you didn't miss any significant information. Also, there's like bitrate and there's resolution stuff issues. I wanted my gameplay to be on Twitch while these kinds of things would be on YouTube, but Twitch just isn't working for me right now. How will karma gained and especially scav karma be increased? That's just hasn't been answered. We'll have to wait and see. Do you think? But if you do want to know more about karma, I've made a few videos about that, so check out the videos, and I've also done a couple streams with that too. Do you think there's more USEC or there's more bear? Depends on what part of the world you're in. If you go over to a Russian server, I'm certain there's more bears, and if you go in the US, actually, believe it or not, it's probably pretty mixed because we see bear as kind of like a meme. So it's just like we want to be able to speak Russian, and there's a lot of people that just like want to be different, and there's people that like the clothing better than USEC. So yeah, there's probably a pretty solid mix, but there's probably more USEC in the US or in the Western countries and stuff like that. So we'll see. But you know what I mean. It depends. It depends is the right word to use there. For the open world, I'm worried about their open world will be similar to a Stalker open world, where is no between just load walls. How do you think their open world is going to work? It's gonna be a process. It's going to be they're gonna go with map to map travel first, and then they're gonna see how that works, and then it will genuinely be open world. So we'll see. I think there's probably going to be a load screen here or there because it's very ambitious. I don't think they're going to be able to do the entire thing without a loading screen somewhere. Again, we'll see. We're going to get the map-to-map travel. We'll see how that goes first. Being a day one alpha founder, Tarkov is a great game. Not many games have kept players engaged for so long, and it's not even released yet. That's the way I feel. That's the exact same way I feel. And if you guys get frustrated with something, be realistic with your expectations and take a break. I know I asked you this last week, but have you heard anything about the wipe? Nope, 12.11. Check out 12.11. Also, guys, I have commands now, so exclamation point commands, and it'll send you exactly to whatever you're looking for there, depending on what you're looking for. Do you think open world will make Tarkov much harder, or do you think it will make Tarkov more easy and laid back? I think it'll make things easier and laid back because there's just so much room. Also, guys, another thing too is there's supposed to be a difference. There's supposed to be, if they end up nailing open world, if open world ends up becoming a thing, in theory, or like the last time they talked about this, we'll see if it ends up being a thing. This is actually one of the questions I'm waiting on getting an answer for. In theory, there's also going to be still some kind of raid system like we have right now, but there's also going to be a separate open world kind of like setup. I'm not super in the know with that kind of stuff. That was talked about a long time ago. I'll take a note to look back into that because we are getting similar questions like that a lot lately. Actual function of open world hideout. I know people kept asking about the hideout. And map to map facing. All right, I'll keep a note of that. Any chance we'll ever get SIG MCX Spear NGSW? It isn't even on the civilian market yet. If it's not on the civilian market, then or if you haven't heard anything from BSG, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. So if you haven't heard anything from BSG and it's not on the civilian market, don't expect it. Just because they don't mention a particular issue that people are complaining about doesn't mean they don't know about it. Most of the time they're working on. Yeah, guys. So they can't completely define every problem every single time. The game is in development. So if there is an issue that is being sustained, or if there's an issue that's being constant over months of development, it's either a reoccurring issue because they fix it over and over again and something keeps breaking about it, or it is something that they are genuinely just kind of keeping afloat because it's going to be replaced by some other plan or some other feature or some other location or something. So if it is genuinely being reported and they know about it, if they're actually responding and saying that they know about it, there's a reason why it's still there after months. There's a good reason. When will the Scav Life DLC be out? After launch. That's the best that I could give. We don't know. If it's DLC, it's going to be after launch. Have you played Tarkov for 24 hours straight? I have, actually, on Twitch. I've done that a couple times for wipes. Any info on private sector map? Nope. I have no idea what's going on with that. The people over at the wiki don't know what's going on with that either. Tis weird. Tis very weird. Do you think LMGs with bipods are going to be useful? It's going to be hella useful for pinning people down, I'll tell you that much. It's going to be very heavy. I think there's going to be some balance going on with there between the weights and how they're able to pin people down and the usefulness of the ammo and stuff like that. I think there's going to be a lot of work behind getting those balanced correctly, but we'll see. They're not in game yet. Will you get... Oh, also because they're going to be belt fed. I want to see... I'm curious about how belts are going to work. If you're going to be able to reload the belts. Are you going to have the links in raid? That kind of a thing. Will you get fence rep for just surviving as a scav run? We don't know. But there is a positive rep if you survive the run and the scav boss also survived. That's going to be positive rep. Any info about private sector? Nope. What updates are you most hyped for? Easily, if it comes to guns, I want the SCAR, I want the G36. If it comes to maps, it's hands down streets, of course. And then also for features, it's the custom armor hitboxes, because I think it's going to be the biggest change to the game, is genuinely the custom armor hitboxes. Do you feel like Tarkov was designed for open world from the start? That is a good question. I mean, that was the plan from the start, if that's what you're looking for. I mean, that was the plan, but designed? I mean, you can go into a lot of the stuff with that, because they also designed it to have portions of it that were PvP focused. So they wanted arena, they wanted stuff like that. So yes, but at the same time, they have multiple priorities. Like they see, I don't know if open world is their absolute top priority. When it comes to specifics and gameplay, I'm probably thinking they're as realistic as playable as a mindset is probably a higher priority than just generally open world, if you know what I mean there. But obviously, yeah, open world's been a plan from the beginning, so they want to keep that in mind. It's kind of a tough question. I hope that makes sense. And ask me again, or ask me another question about it if that doesn't make sense. I'll elaborate further on it. Do you think we need? Do you think we could start making great ammo more scarce? And where is the UMP suppressor? Please, bro. I have no idea where the UMP suppressor is. I'd enjoyed that as well. I don't know what's going on with that. And do you think making great ammo more scarce? Making great ammo. I mean, great ammo, is that like actual usable ammo? Is that the best AP ammo? Is it the best hollow point ammo? Like, there's a lot that can go into that, and it's already pretty difficult to find as it is. But guess what? Flea market makes it real easy to find it, because if you have enough money, you just buy it. So that's a flea market discussion there. I think the flea market would come in big time with that. Also, it is another again, going back to this is a test environment thing. If it's not accessible, we can't test it, right? So it might only be during the testing phase stuff. I think dynamic loot would change everything about how people traverse the map. Any ETA, thanks. So it's not necessarily a singular feature. They're constantly working on how to make loot loot pools different and make dynamic spawns and stuff like that. So calling dynamic loot a singular feature isn't really the way to go anymore, because they're constantly making changes here and there for stuff like that. And they're always thinking about stuff like that too. In fact, I got word from a prominent person at BSG to tell me to go take a look at a specific podcast again, because they think I missed something regarding dynamic loot and loot in general. So I'm going to do that today. They DM'd me yesterday. So I'm going to go take a look at that today. So maybe there might be something interesting, because I'm only human. I do miss stuff sometimes, and they told me to specifically go check that out. So that is what I'm going to do. You mean if I tweet about it, they won't fix it right away? Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's. It's from depending on feature. There's reports. Like, make sure that they know about it. If they actually say that they know about it, then there's a reason if it's been there for months. Trust me. Yeah. SIG MCX Spear is supposed to replace the M4 for the U.S. military. It's chambered in 6.8. Oh, geez. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, but now that you said that, I do. That's like their future weapon system or something like that, if that's what you mean. That'd be nuts if they get that belt-fed machine gun, though. It can use Lapua or something like that. If that's also what you're talking about, that'd be nuts. Future squad weapon or something like that. I know about it, but I haven't heard anything from BSG about it. Although I know they're looking at 6.8 weapons. Where was it found, and what is the private sector map? The private sector map was, if you guys look like at the map that you see in front of you, like the map that you have in front of you before you go into a raid, private sector used to be on that map, but they removed it. That's literally all I know about it right now. Other than like the little definition. If you go on the wiki and you look at private sector on the map, that's literally the only information that I have about it, because I didn't know it existed. I never saw it personally. What DLCs do we already have confirmed? Just confirmed. It's Weather and it's Scav Life, but there's going to be others. How will they even look? I think I've talked about those specifically in a video or two, or maybe three. But Scav Life is going to be really interesting. Check out my Scav Life video. And weather is snow, heavier rain. It's going to be significant weather, stuff like that. Do you think that streets may be more like Division 2's Dark Zone, with PMCs constantly infilling and exfilling? I doubt it with the current way that, like, how the game is currently set up. I doubt it. But once the map-to-map travel comes in, I would see that happening, because you need to go from streets into labs, and then into you need to go from either factory or streets into labs, and then from labs into either factory or streets. So unless when you are coming back from labs, it puts you into a brand new raid, it could be sending you into the same raid, or it could be sending you into an in-progress raid, in which case, yeah, that's going to be a thing. But I think based on like how this stuff usually works, it's my theory that they're probably going to put you into a matchmaking for a new raid, because it just seemingly, I think that is just easier. So, well, easier to set up. So we'll see. Have suppression mechanics ever been mentioned by BSG? Oh, of course. When it comes to like Battlefield 3, like they kind of already want that, especially when you get hit. Of course, when you get hit, that kind of messes with you a little bit. But suppression mechanics have been mentioned. Yep. I don't have an update for it though. I don't know what's going on with it. Other than it would really make sense for it to come with the LMGs. So maybe it does make sense. Maybe it does make sense to come with the LMGs, and the LMGs are just like a Soon TM thing. They've been Soon TM for a while, actually. So I wonder what's going on with that. It's almost like I should ask questions about it. I have asked questions about it. Or I'm waiting to hear back on a couple of questions for Q&A and stuff like that. For stuff like that. I saved my reworked question for the comments. Too big for Night Out. Oh, okay. Nightbot. Okay, gotcha, Vic. I'll look forward in the comments after the VOD then. In a simplified explanation, what is Scav Karma? That is a perfect example of a video that you should go watch, because that is exactly what I put into that video. So literally look up Scav Karma. I put it up like 2 weeks ago, something like that. And that is exactly what you're looking for. So go check out that video. Hello, Big Brain. Is there something you don't look forward to? That's an amazing question. I mean, if I had time to actually think about that, I'm sure I could find something, because realistically, there's probably something that I would. Shit, that's a good question. Like I said, if I had actual time to look through everything, I'm sure there's something that I can find. But I'm genuinely open to whatever they want for the plan of the game is probably the best way that I can answer that. And if there's something that I don't necessarily agree with or don't necessarily love, I know that I'm going to be able to find a way to adapt to it. So it's not necessarily something that I'm not looking forward to. It's just I know I'm going to be able to get over it is probably the best way that I can answer that. But off the top of my head, I don't know. Give me some ideas, guys, of stuff that I possibly wouldn't be looking for. If you guys are a genuinely positive or a generally positive person for stuff like this, try and jog my memory, because I don't think. Yeah, that's a tough question, dude. I'm sure there's going to be something that I don't necessarily agree with fully, but it's like I said, I'm sure that I'm going to be able to adapt to it. So yeah, that's a tough question. What about inertia? Oh, that's a very quick answer. Yeah, inertia. I do like that's an immediate answer. Yeah, actually, I'm on the train that I kind of like how movement works right now, because I think that once the custom armor hitboxes come in, I think what's causing the inertia, talks to happen right now is weight, mostly because there's those very lightweight, very good armors out there, but once the custom armor hitboxes come into the game, people are going to want to be wearing more heavier armor that covers more of your body. So I think that's going to affect how we move a lot better. And yeah, so I like the way that the movement works right now. I know it's not perfect right now, but I know that it's going to change based off of the custom armor hitboxes in the future. So that's kind of like why I like it where it is right now. So inertia, I would be on that train of I'm not really looking forward to inertia. But again, I'm going to adapt to it. There's nothing that I necessarily disagree with that's planned. Like if they ever, for the love of God, if they ever put microtransactions in, because from the beginning, they have always said there will never be microtransactions in Escape from Tarkov. If they ever do that, I'm going to fucking riot. If they ever do that. If they ever put a kill cam, they've said there's never going to be a kill cam. Now, this isn't planned, guys. Be very clear. This stuff is not planned. They have actually said the opposite. This stuff will never come to the game. They said they will never have microtransactions. They did not say, I'll say this like 3 times, this is not planned. They said, in fact, the opposite. But this is kind of the stuff that would come up as me as like I'll riot and I'll really hate and stuff like that. Microtransactions, kill cams, and I know that I made a video about this specifically, and I think there was a third thing. I forget what the third thing is. I know there was a third thing, though. I made a video about it specifically. So, microtransactions, kill cams, even though they've said the exact opposite and where those are never going to come to the game, if let's say that did pop up, I'd fucking riot. I'd hate that. But everything else, I know I can adapt to. Bosses are hostile to player scavs by default. Protecting them is self-contradicting. Obviously, if they have that as a plan, they have a plan to change that. So they're either going to make that not a thing anymore, or there's going to be something that you can do to change that in-game. They obviously have thought about that. So we'll see what ends up happening. Do you think revolvers will be OP with large caliber or bad because of limited bullets? There's a middle area there. So I think they're going to be good because they do have a lot of that stopping power. And then the limited bullets are just, that's what you get with a revolver. So we'll see. There's a middle area. There is a middle area there, I don't think they're going to be overpowered, though. At least not until the custom armor hitboxes come in, because they're going to have that massive pistol one-shot capability with some of those bigger rounds, if you're able to get between the armor. What do you do when you are in labs and you mag dump a guy with a hex grid, then he turns around and one-taps you through the face shield? I say, welcome to Tarkov, and then I load back in. There is a chance to have teammate healing you soon. No chance. That's planned. Buddy healing is coming. That's planned. What's your opinion about flea? Do you think it's better with flea or without? I actually made a couple videos talking about the flea market. I think the flea market causes a problem in the game. The best way that I can explain this is I think the flea market causes a problem in the game that needs to be fixed, and removing it will fix that problem, but it's like a very blunt way to fix it. I think that there's also a way to fix it without removing the flea market, but it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of testing and stuff like that. And that's it. I think the flea market causes a problem in the game, and removing it will solve that problem, but I don't think you absolutely need to remove it. I think there's also other ways that you can go around doing it. So that's my theory with it, or that's my idea with it. You guys are moving very quick. I can't keep up. What the fuck? Plans to have gear presets. Yes. Have you ever watched Operator Drewski's idea on an interchange rework with randomized room tiles to help reduce hatch? There's no fucking way that's ever coming. There's no. They would have something like that. They would have needed to do from the beginning. So cool idea. No fucking way that's coming. So unfortunate. Is Tarkov's biggest issue desync? That's a personal question. I'm sure everyone has their own idea of what the biggest issue would be. My personal issue is that the game's not done yet. So hopefully they can get the game done quick. That's my, like, not that I'm like saying, get the, fix your game, get the game done. Get the game done. Genuinely, it's just, I wish there were more features in the game, and I wish it was what their big picture was done. If there was a button that I could press, and I could either have all of their planned features in game, but it would be even more desyncy or even more broken than it is right now, or I have zero desync, but it's the current game, I'd press the button with all the features. That's my mindset. When you say DLC, do you mean we have to pay extra for that stuff? If you don't have EOD. If you have EOD, you get the DLC for free. Well, quote unquote for free. You've paid already for the DLC. Depends on what version of the game you have. Being a part-time player, you're not going to be a Chad. Embrace the rat. Yeah. Yeah, that's being realistic with your expectations of the game and stuff like that. And what the amount of time and effort that you can put into the game. Is having your own persistent scav being considered? No, because that's just your PMC. Scav Life DLC, you might do something interesting with that because they are talking about like a scav inventory and stuff like that. So Scav Life, we'll have to see what happens with Scav Life. How will Scav Karma work if you scav and the boss is already dead? Great question. I'm assuming they have a plan for that. That's it. I'm assuming they'll have a plan for that. Maybe LMGs are stuck as Soon TM because they can't figure out suppression. Maybe. I know that they specifically said that revolvers have issues that they can't quite figure out, and it's probably not because of like a manpower or like an ability kind of a thing. It's probably based off of like a priority thing. So we'll see. There's lots of things that can happen with priority. People move around all the time from task to task. They probably don't see having pistols in the game as a bigger issue than having whatever else that person's working on for that issue. Or for that feature. This is off the wall, but what are your thoughts on high impact point blank shotgun blast effects on the target, getting knocked prone, changing direction, etc.? I'm on that train. I want that kind of stuff, but that would be really, really overpowered. Overpowered is not the right word for that. That would just be very powerful. Because overpowered would suggest that you need to be able to get close enough for that to be a thing for that person. We'll see what happens with the unconscious states and concussions and stuff like that. I'm interested to see if a slug to the helmet will knock someone out. But past that, I'm still on that train. I wish slugs knocked people down. I wish that was a thing. But we'll see. As realistic as playable. Okay, kill streaks in Tarkov. Not no. Nope. Nope. Do you think we... Nope. Do you think we'll ever... No kill streaks. If I haven't been clear enough with that. Don't do kill streaks in Tarkov. Do you think we will ever... No. No kill streaks. Do you think we will hear about news soon? Hopefully. So, it's supposed to be in May. Like I said earlier, there's some more information that has arisen in the past 24 hours that I'm going to make a video about later. That would be pretty interesting. Let's just say we're still about a month away, but let's just say I'm a little bit more confident about that. I'll do a video about it. I'll do a video about it later. Yeah, news. Okay. But subscribe to the channel and stay tuned here for the latest Escape from Tarkov news, boys and girls. I meant inertia to change AD spam and desync. Sure, if they add inertia, that'll fix AD spam, and I don't know about desync, but it'll fix AD spam. Or at least it'll hit it. What about bunny hopping or ADS strafes? If the game is meant to be played as realistic as playable, these things shouldn't be in the game. Again, that's based off weight, right? You're going to be able to jump and move that quickly because of your weight, and I think that's going to be affected by the custom armor hitboxes because people are going to want to wear more armor. So that's what I mean by that. So once that feature's in the game and once they actually have in a solid place, then, that's when we can talk about inertia and stuff like that. Because if you are light, or if you have enough money to use the correct kind of setup to be a light person and move around as if you are light, like you don't weigh a lot, then there should be a play style to that, and there should be a meta kind of to that you're able to move quickly. But you're going to have less protection. So if you wear more protection, you are more protected, you're less likely to get shots, then it's going to be heavier, and you're not going to be able to move around quick enough. You see where I'm going with that? Like, that's why I think that's a thing. So we'll see. With the Karma system coming and there being more USEC in the US, how will there be balanced bear and USEC ratio? The custom skills are going to be able to help out with that. Also, we'll see what happens with the tasks themselves. I think they're going to change the tasks based off how Karma works. And PMC Karma isn't coming. It's soon TM, but it's not coming with 12.11, so we have more time to figure that stuff out. What about kill cams? I would like to have clear bases on a cheat report. No, so there will not ever be a kill cam where you die and then you immediately see where that person was. The current plan, though, is to have something involved with Peacekeeper's drones so that it's like a theater mode kind of a thing. And once the raid is completely done, aka when you load into a raid, you see that timer up at the top right. It says there's 45 minutes left in that raid. If you die 13 minutes into that raid, it still has, the 30 minutes or whatever left. However long. Let's say you died 15 minutes into the raid, there's still that half an hour left of that raid. So half an hour from that point, once the raid is actually done, no one is actually in that specific instance of that map and of that raid. Then you can then go back and rewatch the drone footage and see what happened there. That is what they're kind of planning with that stuff. So we'll see. Guys, we're already at 10, so let's do last few questions here, guys. I like to keep these to about an hour. So let's lightning round here. I'll pick out if you guys have a specific question that I haven't answered yet. I'll pick out my favorite, 2 or 3 questions here. 2 or 3 questions here at the end. So at Nice Guy Space Tarkov, guys, last few questions, and then we'll head out for the day. But don't worry, I do these daily, so 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time. And we'll have a different topic for tomorrow, but pretty much these Q&As always end up being the same. Everyone always just goes and starts rattling off random questions in the Q&A. So whatever, you can come back tomorrow or leave it in the comments for the VOD. The VOD's going to go up as well. No info about BSG podcast yet, unless I missed something on Twitter. There's a notification that's for Ashes of Creation, so nope. Missing body parts. I don't think that's planned anymore because it'd be pretty significant. And that'd be pretty significant load on the servers and stuff like that. So I don't think gore and losing limbs and stuff is going to be a thing anymore. Tater tots or waffle fries? Oh my god. Tots. I had to go tots. Pretty sure the helmets are to be reworked eventually, but do you think high tier helmets should not be able to shake off the amount of headshots or ricochet? So when it comes to helmets, guys, they have a very specific mindset with the helmets. Ironic because it's for your head there with the mindset. They've unrealistically buffed helmets significantly because in real life the helmets are just not that effective, and they want people to be able to have a choice of helmets, and they want people to actually use the helmets. So they buffed them. Unrealistically. So anything could really happen with the helmets based off of what their thought is, because it is their thoughts. It's really not like those are not how helmets actually work. So depends on what they think when it comes to the balance of the helmets and stuff like that. Could you ask BSG to add the raid episodes to the TV in the hideout so that we can watch it there? That would be cool. I could take a note of that. Are we going to see the raid series on the TV? Raid series on hideout TV? Question mark. That would be cool, along with Blackman. We need full episodes of Blackman as well. Guys, that is going to do it for today. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. For the latest Escape from Tarkov news, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I've got a few videos in the works here regarding a couple with the future of Tarkov, and another one regarding some possible news that we might be hearing soon. We'll hear about that either later today or tomorrow. And if you missed anything, you can come back 9 a.m. Eastern United States time to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time is where you can find me here live for Good Morning Tarkov. Thank you guys very much for hanging out, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.